What's up? What's up? Welcome to Birds of a Feather. Back again with my 5 question series. This is really starting to be very, very fun and very therapeutic. There's a lot of things I didn't know about some of the people I tweet, and there's a lot of things that I did know, but I wasn't sure I was going to discuss with people that I befriended or have gotten to know this year. 2020 has been crazy, but I decided I'm going to pick every person's brain that I know I interact with, if not social media, through one on ones. So this is my time to kind of shift it to not only just Eagle fans, but fans of music as well. So my guest today, Boy Wonder, is someone who I admire from afar for a while. I've gotten to know him. He's fun, and he's definitely someone who's hot on the music scene, especially locally. And I'm sure eventually he's going to be international because I do feel like he's mad talented. Thank you, Boy Wonder, for joining me tonight.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good, good. All right. So these questions don't have to be in any order, but I'm
So
just going
that wasn't the first question?
to. No, that doesn't count. The greeting is not the first question. All right. So, your music. What
Yeah.
style do you consider the music that you play?
I think the Boy Wonder sound is sort of a mix between like post punk, new wave, and like R&B and funk, soul music.
Cool. Um, did you plan it that way when you started playing, or just you kind of just went with the songs that you loved
Um,
and eventually
I,
found the sound?
I wanted to be in a rock band, but I mean that's essentially what I think it is. It's rock music, but I think if you grow up in church, singing in church, if you grow up around people who listen to R&B music,
Hmm.
I think that music is so powerful. It leaves an indelible mark on you. So even if you're not setting out to make soul music, if you have soul, it ends up being in there.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Do you have any gospel singers that you liked growing up?
Um, we liked the Winans
Okay.
here.
Mm.
So the Winans, and so I like the Winans, and I like the Commission,
Okay.
which was the band Fred Hammond was in
Yep.
before he went solo. And uh,
Any Christian rap?
Tremaine Hawkins,
Yeah.
BB and CC Winans.
Mhm.
Not really.
Okay.
Not really with the Christian rap.
It's a select
Um,
genre.
it's like I remember my dad uh tried to put me on to like DC Talk,
Okay.
and
Not your vibe.
there was always rappers that came through like church on
Mhm.
like nights and
Really?
tried tried to bust a godly rhyme, but it I think that there's just certain things that,
This shouldn't mix.
well, not that it's more like I think that there's a certain authenticity, especially in the 90s,
Okay.
which is when, I kind of came of age in the 90s, early 2000s. There was hip hop had to have a certain authenticity about what was going on
Right.
in the neighborhood. So when you heard somebody, rapping about Jesus, it's not that it's a bad thing,
No,
but
it's not, but I know what you're saying.
it's like it was always it was guys in jeans and Tims, and they were rapping about Jesus. There's something about it just that never felt authentic.
I got you. I mean, as a suburban girl, when I first got, for those who are Christian or religious, when I grew up, I got saved at like 17. So I was at the crux of that music breakout too. But sometimes I also just like the beat that you weren't gonna find in at that time gospel music before Kirk Franklin started,
Right.
you know, going that fine line that
Yeah.
sometimes gets him criticism. But I like this one white rapper named Paul Rubin. He was
Right.
fun. I found a couple tracks that I used to love. If I find that album again, I'm gonna download it. But I hear what you're saying with Christian rap. But um, who did you have a favorite artist, and it doesn't matter what genre, that really made you fall in love with music?
Um, Probably the Police,
Mm,
Flash Sting. That was when I heard Roxanne.
mm,
I think I was like 6 or 7.
mm-hmm.
That kind of was it. it was like there was just like this CD with three white dudes on the cover. I guess my sister or my parents
Mhm.
bought like a Police Greatest Hits
Mhm.
CD, one of those Columbia House Johns. It's
Mhm.
like 18 CDs for like
Yes.
12 cents or something like that.
Columbia House, I remember. Oh
And
God.
I just and that just sort of, because like, Michael Jackson, Prince,
Mhm.
Stevie Wonder, it's like all that stuff. It felt like it was great music, but
Mhm.
it didn't really. It was great music, and I loved it, and but it didn't make me want to be a musician. It's like all that stuff sounds kind of full and
Mhm.
impossible to do. It's like, it's like Stevie Wonder.
Yeah,
It
how do you?
wasn't
Yeah,
as
yeah.
Prince was mythic. Michael Jackson was mythic. It's like a
Mhm.
lot of the big black artists in the 80s and the 90s, Janet Jackson, all of those people felt untouchable. It's
Yeah,
like you couldn't do what they could do.
still
But
are.
when you're talking about, because you're talking about 9, 10 guys and dancers and backup singers and all that. And when you see the Police, it's just three dudes.
Mhm.
And it's like, and
Yeah.
I don't like people all that much, as you know. So like, so it's like that was originally what I set out to do was like, oh man, you could do this with three people. Like that's cool. Like it's cool that three people can make that sound. So that kind of that intrigued me in terms of just like wanting to make music. So that was the sort of the sea change for me, and I became more of a avid rock music fan after that.
Who taught you to play the guitar? Did you teach yourself?
Self taught, yeah. It was I kind of my dad bought this piano for us when we were growing up. My sister Nicole got a scholarship to Settlement to teach piano because she's a really good singer. So my father that claimed that I wanted to play the piano and that's why he bought the piano. And I'm like, that don't even sound right.
Like nice try, Dad.
Unfortunately, he's not here to dispute it, but
Yeah.
but like if you hear me tell it, it's like he bought this piano and said, well, both of y'all are gonna play it. So
Damn it.
I took like 7 years of piano lessons and it just didn't take.
Mhm.
And my father kind of gave up and the piano doesn't get played much. So when I said I wanted a guitar, it was my folks were basically like, yeah, okay, you can. Um, my high school girlfriend bought me a guitar as like a graduation present,
Mhm.
but it was clear that I was on my own. So they bought they didn't have to pay for lessons.
Right.
It's like they got me some books and that was really it. I guess they figured if I really wanted to learn how to play, I'd figure it out.
Got you. Got you. And now, do you play left-handed or right-handed?
Right-handed.
Okay. Do you know any left-handed guitar players? Like,
Uh, like in real life,
mhm.
personally, I don't think so.
See, that's the thing. When I do hear people mention left-handed guitar players, I'm always like, why do people make that sound like it's so rare? But I guess it is.
Well, I mean, it's like Hendrix was left-handed. Uh,
Okay, that's where I remember hearing it. Okay, that was the first person. I think my brother-in-law told me.
left-handed, and I can't remember
I have to
who
look it up.
else. It's a Google search. I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah, left-handed guitars. Okay. All right.
Oh,
So,
Babyface is left-handed.
okay,
Uh,
I know Eminem's left-handed, but that's not playing. He's a rapper.
Babyface is left-handed, but plays the guitar upside down, but it's still strung. He plays a right-handed guitar upside down with the thicker strings on the bottom and the thinner on the top. It's very strange, but yeah,
Wow.
that's a
You're gonna make me look because I was just watching an IG live recently with D Nice talking to Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and they were talking about giving away some babyface stories and playing some old school stuff they worked together with, and that's
he's a phenomenal guitar player and a
Mhm.
phenomenal just musician all around. And it's like it's and the just the breadth and the depth of the music
Yeah,
that he's responsible for, not just his stuff, but all the other.
yeah. Yeah, I
Like,
didn't know how much they had done outside of the hits,
yeah,
because I think I just heard When Can I See You Again recently, and that's a lot of kind of guitar in it. And
yeah,
now you make me want to pull up some video now because I've never noticed that.
yeah.
That's cool. But
Mhm.
do you remember your first gig?
Ooh, um, yeah. Well, I remember the first BoyWonder gig. I
Okay.
was in a band before that,
Okay.
and it was in a basement somewhere. But I the first BoyWonder gig was at the Whole Foods on South Street,
Okay.
10th or 11th and South. They
Mm-hmm.
used to have bands in there,
Mm-hmm.
and I just remember just like I wanted to have a band and I wanted to play shows, and I ran into a guy and I made this record and I was determined to make it happen. And it didn't matter how good the band in fact was or who the people were.
Mm-hmm.
I just I literally grabbed two guys
Mm-hmm.
I that I tangentially kind of knew, and they both said yes. So we had like one rehearsal and we played in, I don't know if they still have like the tables where you sit and eat. It was over there. So
Mm-hmm.
like this Whole Foods is packed, and like every 2 hours, well, no, like not every 2 hours, because I think the show was only about 2 hours. Every 20 minutes, somebody was coming over telling us that we were too loud. And I'm always sort of taken aback by that because it's like you booked it.
Right, right, right. What did you expect?
Did you listen to it before you booked it? I don't know. But yeah, that was it was so I played 3 gigs with those two guys.
Okay.
It was the Whole Foods on South Street. Then it was a club somewhere, I forget where it was. Um on South Street.
Mm-hmm.
It was like right off of South Street. It
Mm-hmm.
was like a Chicago tribute show.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy had booked us. And that was a long one too. I don't know. I think somebody didn't show up or something.
Yeah.
So we made the hour and a half um worth of music we had, and we played it for about 3 hours.
Oh, okay.
And then I played a gig at it was called Club Dose,
Okay.
right above the Pizzeria Uno on South Street, if you remember that.
I sort of remember Pizza
I
Ring.
think it's the Twisted Tail now.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Um, and I was
Yeah,
just
we drove
going.
once.
I remember the opening band didn't show up. We ended up playing for like 2 hours.
Okay.
So
Wow.
like it was so yeah, that was yeah, it was a weird, and that all happened within the span of like a month,
Wow.
and it was weird.
But
Um I
and
do it
I
all like in a heartbeat.
and I was thinking to myself because I remember most of the people I've known that done anything kind of music related, especially in Philly, was usually little things in off of South Street or even in Ardmore. Some people I know book some gigs up there. And also too with 2020, what what has been your favorite gig, if any, thus far? Because I know 2020 has really limited you as far as travel now.
Um,
What has been like?
I haven't played much this year. I think the
Okay.
last gig I played was in March, like the last Boy Wonder gig, and it turned out to be the last full band gig.
Yeah.
It was sort of like I remember because the leading up to it, it was so routine. It was
Hmm.
like, it was who's available.
Hmm.
And, I have the main people that I play with, and then I have folks that can kind of step in and do it. So it was
Hmm.
like I had a sub keyboardist and a sub drummer, and it was so routine. It was like, and we hadn't played in a while because I'm so busy with the cover band, the wedding band. A lot of times I hadn't made a lot of time for my own stuff, but I just remember it being so routine. And then they were saying everything was going on lockdown the following day,
Hmm.
so we just webcasted from the Kyber.
Okay.
the show that way. And then
Didn't you go live? I feel like
yeah.
I remember seeing you
Mhm.
go live. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we did a gig. I did a gig at Sister Cities Park
Oh wow.
in September.
Okay.
It was. I just got a call out of the blue, and I have a certain list of COVID kind of
Requirements.
protocols, requirements, right? And the folks that booked me for that were the first people that hit all of them.
Okay.
So, and
It can be done. It can be done.
the price was right, and so we did that. So like, not many gigs this year.
Yeah.
Uh,
I was wondering how you're maintaining because so for those who aren't watching, Andre does a lot of different stuff. So what's the name of the wedding band is called what again?
the
Name
wedding band is called Deja Blue. I'm
Okay.
in a club cover band with some of the same people
Mhm.
called Element K,
Okay.
and um and then I have BoyWonder, and then there's some. I work with a guy, Jim Stevens. He's a roots blues artist.
Mhm.
Um, he's signed to Rope Records, and so I've been doing a lot of extensive work with him the past couple years. He puts out an album like every year.
Mhm.
Uh, so like, we've done some acoustic blue stuff together, and then I come in and sing and play on his full band stuff. Last record we did was called Yellow River. We recorded um, the bulk of it at Esplanade Studios in New Orleans.
Wow.
It's like where it's like Eric Clapton's recorded there, Elvis Costello, Willie Nelson, Solange,
Mhm.
Lil Wayne, like a bunch of different people. It's like one of the studios in New Orleans. It was a lot of fun.
Now, where do you put? Because I know you've released music online. Where you predominantly have most of your music? If
So
there's
you can find everything on Bandcamp if you want to buy it. Spotify,
Mhm.
Apple Music if you
Right.
want to stream it rather. Tidal, basically anywhere you find anybody else's music, mine is likely there too.
And I do love the Skin single because the Skin single. I even like it better even without. I like the demo. Like I like kind of that naked sound.
Yeah.
And me, I still, oh my God. And I always tell you what song I love that every time I see you, I forget the title. And I tell you, I love that song. You're like, I don't remember you saying. I'm like, yes. Every time you played it, it shows. It's
Yeah.
gonna annoy me. I'll text you later. But anyway, um, lastly, too, I'm asking everybody because it is Birds of a Feather. And at some point, those who I know watch sports, we're gonna talk about this.
Mhm.
What is your overall opinion about our Eagles this year?
Uh, I thought this year was going to be a wash
Yeah,
uh,
already from the door.
from the door. It's like no training camp, no um, preseason, uh, too many new pieces, um,
Injuries.
too many injuries. It's like, I personally believe that um, we don't have a Patrick Mahomes necessarily in Carson Wentz.
We don't.
But I do believe that we have a franchise quarterback that can be successful. It's just like, as a musician, as somebody who puts records together, as now working with Roots to Rise as a nonprofit in the realm. It's like, and I've always worked in the realm of putting people in place to do stuff. Like, even as a musician, like doing the hype and getting a bill together, or
Mhm.
sending the right teacher to teach a yoga class. It's all about having the right pieces, all the
Mhm.
right people in place. And I just, offensively, we don't have the right pieces. We don't have the pieces in place just yet. It's like we're
No,
holding on to uh,
old people.
old guys who get hurt a lot, and which would give us success immediately if they're healthy. And then we have these young guys,
Mhm.
and Howie Roseman never seems to draft guys that make an impact year one.
Right.
It's always
A year or two later.
these sort of project guys who, might be good in like 2 or 3 years. I think the last person that he drafted that made an impact right away was Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
So like,
Mhm.
it's
It's hard.
it's really it's like I don't know. I think it's just it's kind of a mess.
Mm-hmm.
The offense the offense is predictable.
Yeah.
You need a guy that can keep things fresh and keep Carson Wentz on task.
Mm-hmm.
Defensively, our linebacking core is just might be the worst, not only the worst in football, but like the worst in the history of football.
See,
Crazy.
I like TJ Edwards though. I think him and
Yeah. I just like as a whole.
as a whole. No, you're right.
When have you known us
Yeah.
to have bad linebackers? Like from like Seth Joyner to Jeremiah Trotter to I can't even. It's like there's so D'Amico Ryans. Like when have we not had a stud standout linebacker?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like I don't know. I think I still think that they'll win the division and make the playoffs.
See, now I don't. Now I'm nervous. Like I feel I'm gonna watch every week, like most fans.
I'm not. It's
I have to. I'm sorry. I don't feel right now watching a game.
Here's the other thing too. The Eagles have this tendency to play up to the level of the competition. So like they'll steal one of these games, I think. It's like because they always seem to match up well against Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland can probably be beat. Drew Brees is hurt.
Yeah.
Jameis Winston is the starting quarterback.
I'm not scared of him. Yeah.
Nobody's scared of him.
We might get some gifts that week.
They'll throw more passes to the Eagles than Carson Wentz does. So, and it's like we seem to always be good in November and December.
Mm-hmm.
And the NFC East is so bad.
I know
that.
But that tie is so annoying because once again, it could make or break them.
But it'll make us probably. It'll probably put us in first place. It's better than a loss. It's not a win.
True.
Won that game. But I think getting Carson. I think Carson Wentz is key. Getting Carson Wentz on track is key. He's not the type of a person that's gonna. He's not Donovan McNabb, who in my opinion is the best quarterback in the history of franchise. He's not a guy that can make guys like Todd Pinkston and James Thrash.
Yeah, better.
He can't make that work. Wentz needs some studs around him that can stay healthy long enough. Zach Ertz is hurt.
Oh, he's back now.
Is he back?
Yeah, he's back. They said he's, that whatever that new category, you got 20-day window now for practicing. So who knows? He might play anyway, but they're going to Cleveland. I don't know what to think about Cleveland just because I don't know. Baker can have good I know because
field. Is Beckham hurt? Beckham's hurt, right?
Who? Oh yeah, Beckham is out. Yeah, he had Achilles.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Nick Chubb's really good.
Yes. He started
they seem to do well against running backs.
Yeah.
The running quarterbacks they seem to have a problem with.
Yeah.
They seem to play the run really well. Nothing about that scares me. I'm not saying they're going to win the game, but it's possible. Green Bay is possible.
Well, yeah, because I would think Aaron want revenge because the way they embarrassed the end of that game last year.
Right.
That shouldn't have even happened, but
it's like
played pretty well in Green Bay.
Right. It's it's one of those things where it's like if the Eagles were healthy.
Yeah, I wouldn't be worried.
They'd be 7-2 or whatever it is. I don't know how many games they played.
Yeah.
They'd be 6-2 probably.
I just feel like part of the problem too is do you think that the whole Jalen Hurts pick messed up the whole chemistry of or just the coaching staff itself was doomed once everybody left, like once Frank Reich left, DiFilippo?
Well, that's what happens. I think that's what happens when you have success. You win a Super Bowl, everybody wants your assistants.
Mm-hmm.
And you gotta pick new people that are good. It's like Frank Reich deserves to be a head coach
Yeah,
somewhere.
he does. He
And
does.
he's doing well in Indianapolis. So it's you're not gonna be able to keep these guys forever.
No. But obviously, people can't pick talent in our front office. That's what I'm nervous about.
Yeah, that's
I don't
I
trust
think
talent.
that's a universal problem in sports in our city. It just seems to not be
We don't know talent.
people don't have an eye for talent, and if they do, it's like they get these slam dunks, and then everybody is hurt. I don't know what's going on in the training facilities.
Yeah, I'm
At
wondering
the
why they
medical
keep
care
switching
conference.
medical staff. Yeah, I do
I
wonder
don't
why
know
that.
what's going on. It's like people always seem to be banged up,
Yeah.
tearing
Achilles.
muscles and
Yeah.
joints and stuff. And it seems to be every year. And then it's like, and we call in every day and we talk about Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
But it's like
It's not always him.
he's the type of player that is going to take it on his shoulders and try to win the games on his own, because you can't. It's like, he can't.
He can't throw a catch.
He can't throw passes to himself. He can't block for himself.
Although he showed a little ability when they made him be a tight end that time. I said, look at him blocking.
Yeah, he can't. It's like he can't rush the passer. He can't come by receivers. It's like it's 22 men. 22 men go on the field. 30 some men go on the field, offense and defense. It's like, and special teams. It's like we've got some real systemic problems.
Yeah, there's definitely a mentality that they just don't understand. I don't know how you keep pulling people from roster and putting certain people back, making deals with players who are obviously hurt, and then not promoting your tight end who pretty much won you the Super Bowl. You don't want to promote him, but you want to promote Alshon, who's been hurt for a season and a half.
Right.
Put him in last week, and that didn't even matter. They didn't even play him that much. Like, I don't understand it, but
all right, he's not. It's like, and again, it's like there hasn't been a lot of time for these players to gel. The teams that are doing well are the people that didn't have a whole lot of turnover from last year.
Right, you're
and
right.
The Bucks.
Fresh legs, yeah, you're right.
And Bucks. It's like consistency seems to be key in this during this COVID season.
Yeah. So. I used to buy into that whole, they didn't have a preseason. And I'm like, well, Steelers are 9-0. So that's not an excuse. Like, you got players.
No, but again, you've got the same coaches.
Yeah.
Got essentially the same team. You got the same quarterback. You don't have important pieces. Like this year, we've got young receivers, a corner. The offensive line that we started with is not the one we have. And it's like they're not excuses, but they are reasons.
They are. I mean, honestly, like, I was mad they brought JP back, but then I got it once Dillard apparently didn't work out or hurt himself. And then I thought, well, either because to me, they made 2 bad draft picks that they're not willing to admit now with JJ and Dillard. So that doesn't make me feel confident about the draft next year. So people keep.
I think Dillard will be fine. He's just hurt.
I know, but they keep making it sound like he's not capable of, even when he wasn't hurt. Like during the brief time that they had practices, they made it sound like they weren't confident in him. And I'm like, y'all got to give him a chance, though. It's just like when they had Melado on left tackle for a minute. I'm like, just as he was starting to warm up, you're going to bring injured old JP back just for the sake of it. Now you're throwing him out of rhythm again. So when you put Melado in there again, he got to relearn his steps. Like, I just feel like, because JP's going to drop in halftime like he always does.
He's my age.
But he looks like Rick Ross.
My age. Like he's like 37 or 38.
38, I think, yeah.
Well, he's older than me then. It's like,
still,
I remember we did a wedding. Deja Blue did a wedding for the Eagles, one of the Eagles trainers, one of the Eagles doctors, and like Jason Kelsey and Jason Peters were in the wedding.
Okay.
And I don't think Jason Peters didn't come to the reception, but I remember seeing him on the way in. massive.
Yeah. He's a big
Massive.
dude. That's why I always feel bad when he falls, because in my head I'm like, well, you're probably too big for that knee, so maybe you should have just sat down.
Everybody's knees weigh the same.
Either way, when he drops, I get so angry because I want to be like, why are you doing this to yourself? You're tarnishing your legacy. But
he still wants to play football.
Obviously, I mean, you can't tell me they didn't throw more money at him for him to leave, when
Right.
they released him. But
Right.
But all right, cool. And what else? Besides Roots to Rise, tell what Roots to Rise is again, and what for it.
Roots to Rise is a nonprofit organization. Started about 6 years ago. Our founder, Tim Wagner, was doing yoga in the prisons.
Mm-hmm.
And a prisoner pulled him aside and said, like, what are you doing here? He's like, yeah, it's good for the inmates. Like, no, I needed this before I got here. So that kind of sparked the idea of let's make yoga accessible to people who don't have access to it. Okay. So regardless, so when we were out before COVID, we were in rec centers, libraries, non-traditional spaces. Mm-hmm. It was it was a chance, it was a way to bring low cost to no cost yoga to people that need it.
Right.
So we were in West Philly, North Philly, Fishtown, South Philly. Like, we were always easy to find. All our classes were donation based. Mm-hmm. Now, since COVID, we've moved pretty much exclusively online. Yeah. We did some outdoor stuff.
Okay.
Summer and the fall. Mm-hmm. But for now, we're back online on our Facebook and Instagram. Mm-hmm. We have a kids and family yoga class on Monday. Wednesdays, I teach a wake up yoga class and a chair yoga class. Got Beth Heat on Thursdays. Fridays, we have Breathe, which is a class on Zoom strictly for the BIPOC community, so Black, Indigenous, and other people of color. So just a safe space for those folks to be. And then Saturday, I do a Saturday at noon class as well. Okay. And all of our classes are donations only. So if you don't have any money, you can still sign up. You can still log in. But we do accept donations.
I know. Every time I witnessed it, I'm like, damn, he's early. I said, all right.
But it's all available after the fact.
True.
So
you're right.
Hit Instagram, hit Facebook. If your wake up yoga is at 12:30 in the afternoon, that's fine. It's there.
True.
So, no excuses.
Well, I thank you for doing that anyway, because that's just cool in so many ways. I mean, and I always tell you I'm a fan of you just because you've always been a very different brother to me. I mean, my first instinct, I used to always joke with you. I'm like, you always look high. You said that's just my face.
My face.
As my mom always says, I'm not tired. It's just my face. But thank you so much though for doing this, because the podcast, it's called Birds of a Feather for a reason, because we all got something in common, just like the saying, birds of a feather flock together. And I know I've been big on getting my meditation and yoga this year to get through 2020, because Lord knows it's been testing me up here.
Come on Friday.
Yeah, I will. You know what? I'm going to try, seriously. I am going to, because I did try meditation at 7 a.m., so I can do it. I just have to literally get my...
Oh, no, the Friday class is at night.
Oh, the Friday class. That's right. You did say
8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm. Lord knows I ain't doing nothing on Friday nights these days, so I will definitely... And what's the website for Roots to Rise?
RootsToRise.org. And then you can find us on social media, facebook.com/Roots to Rise. And then Instagram @Roots to Rise.
Okay, because I'll put everything in the description too.
Mm-hmm. And then to find me, my music, and my thoughts on life, @BoyWonder Rocks on Twitter.
All right.
@BoyWonder Rocks on Facebook, @BoyWonder Rocks on Instagram. BoyWonder Rocks on all the socials.
Are you on TikTok too? Because I know I saw a couple clips.
I am on TikTok.
I love it.
BoyWonder Rocks on TikTok.
He does the funniest memes on TikTok, so trust me, it's worth it. Yes. If any of you grown folk are on TikTok, that is. So, all right, Andre, thank you. I mean, BoyWonder, excuse me. That's
no worries.
BoyWonder, and definitely check him out on all his platforms. And thank you very much for joining another episode of 5 Questions. It's AJ the Princess. Have a great one. Thanks.
Bye.